Hey, I just recently did some statistics for condos and townhomes in the Uptown area of Dallas, and I wanted to share the market update that I found. I found it really interesting, and I think it's a little bit characteristic of certain areas of Dallas. Now, not everybody's experiencing this. We still have certain neighborhoods where we're getting multiple offers, but I will tell you, there is something interesting happening in attached properties, townhomes and condos for sale on the market right now in Dallas. So I did a small radius of Uptown condos and townhomes. I specifically looked at the price range of 400 to 650 because that's kind of an entry point for a lot of younger people, a lot of people that are maybe coming in and getting their first property. And there's a lot of young professionals that like to find those. There's people of all ages that buy them, of course, but I just wanted to see what that entry point was to the condo townhome market of Uptown. Well, here's what I found. We have 100 active properties in this one little radius that I searched. And of that 100 properties, 3 sold last week. So that means that at the current rate, based on last week's numbers, it would take about 3 years to sell all those properties. But here's some additional data that I found. There were 50 properties that had come on the market and expired in the last 90 days. That meant that 50 houses had tried to sell and then they decided to cancel and keep the property. So technically we had 150 available properties over the last few months and only 3 per week are selling. Now, at first you would say, well, 3 per week, that's only one week's of data, Matt. But here's the thing, I went back 4 months and I found that almost exactly it was 36 houses, 3 for, let's say 4 weeks a month, right? A little bit more than 4 weeks. It was about 3 per week for 4 months, all through spring, all through the beginning of the summer. We saw the same amount of homes selling in Uptown. It's about 3 a week. So we're seeing a market that has more inventory than it has buyers. And then, but then many of the sellers are having to cancel or expire because they don't realize that the price was not appropriate for what the buyers were paying and that they only got 3 buyers a week. So the question was, were they first in line? Were they the next one to get chosen? Were they winning the beauty contest? Were they winning the price war in order to be the next one chosen out of the 100 or 150 other homes that were available to them? So I just want to give you that quick update. That's a stat for Uptown. That's a stat for that $400,000 to $650,000 range. Of course, there's properties in all sorts of price ranges. There's areas that are going crazy that are getting 3, 4, 5 offers. But in this specific pocket of attached properties in Uptown, townhomes and condos, we're seeing a slower moving market, and we're seeing that buyers have an easier ability to demand or make demands. So if you're a buyer looking to buy a townhome or condo in Uptown or anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you may be able to negotiate some additional closing costs, a lower price, maybe some other terms that are favorable to you. And it's important to consider, how desperate is the seller that I'm working with? How much are they willing to make some adjustments? And many sellers are willing to make adjustments if they're in one of those pockets that's having a little bit of trouble. You can text us at 972-677-3991, and we'd be happy to help you with that same thought process. Talk to you soon. I'm Matt Templeton, Texas real estate broker and Dallas home guide.